Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We've got Nvidia earnings after the bell today. Let's talk about that on the weekly update. Okay, friends, let's talk Nvidia earnings. Here's what you need to know. First up, today, after the bell, Nvidia reports earnings. Now, this is a little unusual for us to focus in so microscopically on one company, but Nvidia just isn't any company. So what's going to happen today after 4? This man, Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, is going to come out and tell you how his business is doing. And if you don't know what Nvidia is, they are primarily, I would say they are the number one far and away picks and shovels provider to the AI gold rush. If you're trying to stand up an AI system, you probably have a whole bunch of Nvidia GPUs, these things that Jensen is holding in his hands here. And so this is really sort of like the heart of the AI trade, the heart of this technological revolution that we're seeing. Expectations going into these earnings, revenue is going to be around $24.5 billion for the quarter. That's up 241% year over year. Earnings per share is expected to be $5.13 a share. That's up 482% year over year. And if you look at these numbers, it's a little bit of a head scratcher as to why there's so much fanaticism around Nvidia. First of all, this growth is fantastic, so I don't want to say anything bad about the growth. But if you think about the context of a $20 trillion economy, it's kind of amazing that the whole world is hanging on this company that is going to report something like, a little under $100 billion in sales, right? Like the entirety of the economy feels like it's hanging on this company. And one of the reasons why this is the case, why there's so many eyeballs on Nvidia, is that this is going to be 40% of the 2024 S&P 500 earnings per share growth. What that means is that there's not a whole lot of growth stories out there. And so this is something that you typically see in economic slowdowns, that when growth becomes scarce, everybody hyper-focuses on growth. If we had a much broader economy, if there were businesses out there growing, basically across the board, I think the spotlight on Nvidia would be dimmed a little bit. But because so many companies are challenged right now or not growing, we're hyper-focused on what is the largest growth story in the market right now. And yes, it is the current market darling. Once again, though, I'm going to caution on darlings. Remember, it was not long ago that maybe 2 years ago, Tesla was the darling. I don't have a single client calling me trying to increase their allocation to Tesla now. In 2007, ExxonMobil was the darling. There's not a single client calling me trying to up their allocation to ExxonMobil. And in 2000, GE was the darling. There's no one's calling me trying to up their GE exposure. So you want to be careful with darlings. Yes, this is the darling right now, but I'm going to go on record to say I like Nvidia. I don't want to say anything bad about the company. I think it's a great company to hold. If you own an S&P 500 index, this is the third largest holding anyway. And I think a market weighting is fine to hold. So what does it all mean, Nvidia earnings? Well, Nvidia is going to report some knockout numbers. However, this is already known. It's part of the reason why the stock has moved as much as it has. We know that there's a gold rush going on. We're not going to be surprised with these knockout numbers. So Nvidia's guidance about the future is what's going to be key. On the positive side, big tech is investing heavily in this space. Nearly every big tech company came out and said, we're going to spend $100 billion this year on building out our AI infrastructure, and Nvidia is probably the largest recipient of that spend. On the negative side, big tech has misallocated before. You can think about, the enthusiasm around crypto or Web 3.0. You can think about the enthusiasm around EVs. You can think about enthusiasm around VR and the metaverse, right? This wouldn't be the first time that big tech has misallocated hundreds of billions of dollars chasing something that maybe doesn't materialize as much as we're thinking these days. So there's a lot on the shoulder of this one company. And this highlights sort of the narrowness of the economy. So I think Nvidia is going to be fine, right? We heard from big tech. They're going to be investing this way. So I think they're going to have a good earnings call. I'm interested to see the longevity of this AI boom. So what I can tell you, though, whether good or bad, and I'm expecting the earnings to be good, the sun will rise tomorrow, even after Nvidia reports, irrespective of what they report. So there you go. Be careful with darlings. It's okay to own them in a market weight. You don't want to get much more beyond that. We'll see how it goes. I'll see you this weekend for the weekend review. Take care. Okay, friends, that was the video. Hope you liked it. If you found it informative, good, entertaining, I'd love if you could scroll down here beneath the video and give me a like there. It helps us out with the algorithm. And then if you want to be notified first of anything new that we upload to the channel, if you come over here, click subscribe, you'll be the first to know as soon as we upload anything. Appreciate it. See you soon.